When I graduated college, I did door to door sales for the first 2 years, and I met a lot of characters. Do you have like one or two like crazy stories from when you go out to people's homes?
I have two really crazy stories. One was a sale and one was not a sale. So I'll start with the sale. And this was like a turning point in my whole career. I go out on a sales call for like 10 windows, and it's in Jamaica, Queens, in a rough part, right? Jamaica
Oh, yeah.
has, a really nice part and a really rough part. And I get there, and the woman is lovely. She's missing a few teeth. And we're going through, and she's kind of with me, but I'm noticing something's off about her. And she keeps telling me, I got to go in the other room. And I'm like, okay, I'll be right here. Take your time. And she comes back, and there's this smell in the air, and it smells like burning hair. And she leaves again, and I pull out my iPhone, and I'm like, what drug smells like burning hair? And everything that pops up is like crack cocaine, crack cocaine. So I'm like, oh my God, is this woman like really smoking crack in the room next to me? And I had to go in there to measure. And there it is. The pipe is just right on the table. And I just blinders on. This is when I was starting to get good. This is like year two. I'm working the kinks out. I'm trying to make my President's Club trip, which I did make that year. And
Let's
for the first time
go.
ever.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
And I'm like, it doesn't matter. She's smoking crack. That doesn't mean she won't buy windows. Like I gotta keep the blinders on. And she's like super eccentric and going nuts. And fast forward to the end, I get her approved. She had a 500 credit score, FCC. I love FCC. They took the deal because she had like low debt or whatever. And I remember just thinking, like, if I can sell this person, I can sell anybody. Like I just showed myself in the worst of scenarios, I can pull one out. That's one of my favorite stories of all time because it's so crazy. And I'll have, now that I'm a manager, I'll have reps, tell me their crazy story and be like, I can't believe, I was in this situation. Like, there's no way anybody would have sold it. And I'm like, you're wrong. Somebody could have sold it because I've been in way crazier scenarios and I have sold. And all my reps know of the crack lady story because I'm like, listen, if this can be sold, then there's just no excuses. Like anything can be sold. So that's one of my favorites. And by the way, she was super nice despite all of the craziness that was going on. I actually have a picture with her. We
Really?
took a photo after the sale because I was like, no one's going to believe me if I don't get this picture of her with all her missing teeth. And she's smiling and we're holding up my sample window. And this is like 10 years ago. I wish I still had it. But we actually showed the photo at the sales meeting because I was like, you guys aren't going to believe me if I don't put up the picture here. So we put it up and everyone was like, that's insane. Like, you're going to go on a run. Like, if you can sell her, you can sell anybody.
That's amazing. And then you said there was a second one as well?
So the second one, complete opposite from her because I can't tell you his name because once you hear the story, you'll know why I can't tell you his name, but very high profile, works in media. This man is worth over $100 million. And he was actually writing letters into Anderson about, hey, I tried booking an appointment. Like, why won't you guys come out to my house? And he signed it with his name. And I'm like, there's no way this is the real guy.
Hmm.
Like, this guy's worth $100 million. Why is he writing letters in? Like, he should have an assistant doing this, or like, why would he even be handling a window project? So I bring my director of sales with me. And we're like, if this is legit, let's go try to get this. And we get out to his house, and it's him, very famous media personality. He owns a compound on Long Island. Compound's worth like $50 million. There's 4 estates on it.
Wow.
And we're thinking like dollar signs, like this could be the biggest sale in our company's history. We were let down, right? So, and I love telling these stories back to back because you got the crackhead lady with no money who made a purchase and fixed her house up. And then you have this man who will be
Super
nameless,
wealthy. Yeah.
super wealthy that did not want to spend the money, which is crazy. But the crazy part about being at this guy's house was he was very nice, and we let him know right up front, like, we know who you are, and we want to help you. And my director of sales told a story of him and his father watching him on TV during his dad's last days on earth, like in the hospital. And we must have sent this guy into like a relapse or something because he started boozing after that. Now, this is 11 o'clock in the morning, and he's just putting back vodka. And he got so drunk that he couldn't finish the appointment.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and like we noticed he had mags of Grey Goose all over the house, like every room. And we're like, maybe he entertains a lot, maybe he's a big party guy. But after meeting him, it's like this guy was serious, serious alcoholic. And we get to the end and he's like can barely keep his eyes open. And we show him a price for like not a lot, right? It's just the main house we're looking at. I think the price was like 70 grand just to take care of like half of his main house because he had water leaks coming in from the south side. And for somebody like that, we thought like this is pennies. Like he's just gonna whip out the checkbook, we'll take care of the problems. And he's, I'm telling you, pissed drunk, arguing with us about the price. And we're just like, man, this is so disappointing because you're not who we thought you would be.
Especially when he's the one that was writing the letters saying, "Why won't you come to my house?" You would think that he would be like a 10 out of 10 super hot lead,
Yeah.
and that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
If you were to get that full order, how big would that have been?
So we actually priced it out while we were there because he ended up passing out for an hour and because he was just hammered, which is so crazy. And we were like, you know what, let's just take the time. Like we're here, like we want to wait for him to wake up and try to get a sale here. So we priced out the whole compound and it wasn't an exact number because we couldn't get into all the houses, but we think it was upwards. It probably would have been about between 800 and 900K to do every unit on the compound, which would have exceeded the biggest sale for our location by about 400 grand.
Wow. And
Yeah.
that would have been your biggest commission ever.
It would have been the biggest commission, biggest sale ever. Unfortunately, can't judge a book by its cover because you got the crackhead lady on one side of the spectrum and you got the $100 million man on the other side. The crackhead bought. The guy worth 100 million fought over the price and ended up. I don't. These windows might still be messed up to this day.
Yep. Like when I used to walk into medical offices, the beautiful one that's got, super nice paintings all over the walls, looks super elegant. Sometimes those are the cheapest people. And then you
Yeah.
walk into a rundown place and they're ready to talk business. So you're absolutely right. You can't judge a book by its cover.